The sky above Scytherin Prime was an ominous canvas of swirling black and crimson clouds. The once flourishing capital city, Verlac, lay in ruins, its grand spires and crystalline towers reduced to smoldering rubble. The Zorthan Council, the ruling body of the Scytherin species, convened in what remained of their underground sanctuary. Their antennae twitched nervously as the tremors of another orbital strike shook the chamber. "We are out of options," Prime Counselor Thurix lamented, his voice quivering. "The Devourers have breached our planetary defenses. Our fleets are decimated, our warriors gone." The Council's collective despair was palpable. The Devourers, an unstoppable force of biomechanical predators, had ravaged entire galaxies, leaving extinction in their wake. Scytherin Prime was next on their list, and it seemed nothing could halt their advance. "We must initiate the last protocol," said Councillor Velra, her tone resolute yet heavy with resignation. "It is better to obliterate our world than let it fall to them." A murmur of reluctant agreement rippled through the chamber. Just as Therix raised his claw to authorize the command, a loud chime echoed through the room. It was the emergency communication console flashing an unfamiliar insignia, a blue sphere encircled by stars, the symbol of the United Terran Alliance. "Humans," Thurix muttered, his antennae perking up in confusion. The Xitherans knew little about humanity, save for rumors of their audacious nature and unorthodox methods. The Council had never considered them significant players in the galactic arena, until now. Velra activated the transmission. A human figure appeared on the holoscreen, clad in a sleek uniform adorned with the emblem of the UTA. His expression was calm but determined. "This is Commander Elias Carter of the United Terran Alliance," the human announced. "We've received your distress signal. With your permission, we're here to help." Thurix blinked his compound eyes in disbelief. "Help? Against the Devourers? Your kind cannot possibly comprehend the scale-off." "With respect, Prime Counselor," Carter interrupted. "We've faced the Devourers before, and we've beaten them." The chamber fell silent. The idea seemed absurd, yet there was something in the human's tone, a confidence that bordered on recklessness, but carried the weight of experience. "What's your plan, Commander?" Velra asked cautiously. Carter's lips curled into a slight smirk. "Simple. We fight back." Within hours, a fleet of Terran ships descended into Xytherin Prime's orbit. Unlike the sleek, elegant vessels of the Xytherans, the Terran ships were rugged and angular, bristling with weaponry. At their core was the Horizon's Edge, a massive dreadnought equipped with experimental technology that humanity had developed specifically to combat the Devourers. Carter stood on the bridge of the Horizon's Edge, flanked by his officers. The ship's AI, nicknamed Athena, provided a tactical overview. "Commander," Athena's voice chimed, "the Devourer fleet is converging on the planet's northern hemisphere. Estimated time to impact, 6 hours. "Good," Carter said, his tone steely. "Let's give them a warm welcome. Deploy the Iron Fang and Raven squadrons for a flanking maneuver. Make sure the Nova cannons are primed." The human strategy was audacious. Instead of retreating or defending passively, they planned to meet the Devourers head-on. Carter's confidence wasn't born of arrogance but hard-earned knowledge. Humanity had studied the Devourers extensively, identifying weaknesses in their hive-like coordination and exploiting their over-reliance on brute force. As the human ships engaged the enemy, the Xytherans watched from their subterranean sanctuary, their anxiety mingling with awe. The Terrans fought with a ferocity and ingenuity that defied logic. Their ships weaved through the Devourer swarms, deploying energy disruptors that caused the biomechanical creatures to falter. When the Devourers retaliated with overwhelming numbers, the humans unleashed gravity bombs that tore through the enemy ranks. On the surface, Xytheran resistance fighters, who had long resigned themselves to defeat, found renewed hope. Human ground troops, clad in adaptive exosuits, joined them in holding key positions. These soldiers brought with them advanced weaponry and an unyielding determination that inspired the Xytherans to rise once more. Among the human troops was Sergeant Maria Valdez, who led a joint strike team to reclaim the city's power grid. The mission was critical. Restoring the grid would enable the deployment of a planetary shield to buy more time. "Stay close and follow my lead," Valdez instructed her Scytheron counterparts as they advanced through the rubble-strewn streets. Her team encountered fierce resistance, but her tactical acumen and refusal to give up turned the tide. By the time they secured the grid, even the most skeptical Scytheron fighters looked to her with admiration. "You humans are relentless," one of them remarked, his voice tinged with both awe and gratitude. Valdez grinned. "It's kind of our thing." Back in orbit, the battle raged on. The horizon's edge took heavy damage but pressed forward, its Nova cannons unleashing devastating volleys. As the Devourer mothership came into view, Carter knew it was time for their trump card. "Athena, activate the Singularity Lance," Carter commanded. "Acknowledged," the AI replied. Target locked. The Singularity Lance was a weapon of last resort, capable of generating a controlled black hole. As the weapon charged, the ship's energy reserves dipped dangerously low. The crew braced themselves as the lance fired, a blinding beam of energy tearing through the void. The resulting singularity consumed the Devourer mothership and several of its surrounding ships. With their hive mind disrupted, the remaining Devourers faltered, retreating in disarray. The tide had turned. The aftermath of the battle was bittersweet. While Scytheron Prime had been saved, the cost was staggering. Human and Scytheron alike mourned their losses, but amid the grief, a bond had formed. In the council's chamber, Therix addressed Carter. "We owe you a debt we can never repay. Your actions have shown us that even in our darkest hour, hope can prevail." Carter shook his head. "You don't owe us anything. This is what we do. Humanity doesn't back down from a fight, especially when there's something worth fighting for." Velra stepped forward. "Perhaps this is the beginning of something greater, an alliance not just of necessity, but of understanding and unity." Carter smiled. "I like the sound of that." As the humans prepared to depart, the Scytherans stood together, watching the Terran fleet ascend into the stars. For the first time in centuries, they felt not just survival, but the promise of a brighter future. And they knew one thing for certain. The end had seemed near, but humanity had stepped in, and everything had changed